We're celebrating 50 glorious years of Coronation Street, looking back at a decade a day. Today, it's all about the 80s.
Sorry to interrupt your boozing and your guzzling. This won't take long.
He looks happy enough.
For how long, though?
Hey.
You're late.
Not totally insensitive, you know. This is a momentous moment for me.
How well do you know Jack Duckworth?
Well, I thought a lot of you'd be glad to see the back of me.
I'll be in charge, it'll be my pub.
I bet you're both glad that's over.
I enjoyed every minute of it.
Oh, brilliant. We're joined now by Mark Eden, who plays the evil Alan Bradley, along with our very own soap queen, Sharon Marshall. And welcome. How lovely to have you here.
Well,
Lovely
it's nice
to
of you to
have
invite
you.
me.
The tram moment, we saw a little bit of
Yes.
it there when you were hit by the tram. That is still the 9th most viewed TV moment of all time.
Wow.
It's pretty big, yes. They've got a huge audience, but then we only did two, you see. We only did two a week.
Yeah.
And there weren't all the channels, so that's why we got big audiences, I think.
Massive figures.
Yes.
So when you first started, he was quite an ordinary bloke at first, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So how did that develop?
Well, they decided to change it. I don't know why, but Bill Podmore called me into his office and said, we're going to do a remake on Alan Bradley. We're going to find out little things about his past, that he wasn't working on an oil rig, that he was in prison for grievous bodily harm. And for various little things will start coming up, and he will start to revert to type. How do you feel about that? And I said, well, yeah, lovely. I mean, you know, baddies are always great parts to play, aren't they?
Well, the trouble with being a baddie is that it's a finite length of time, isn't it? Because baddies don't tend to last very long.
The curse of the baddie.
Always come to a sticky end.
Yeah. And what's quite fascinating is that actually you were only in Coronation Street for 4 years.
I was.
But you had such an impact. That character, I mean, it sort of sticks in everybody's mind when you think back to that time.
It does, yes. Yeah, people still call me Alan. It's 21 years ago.
Unbelievable.
And they still recognise me. I don't know how, but they do.
Well, you've got your book out here, a journey, and that's a picture of you when you were playing the character. Because on the back we've got you with lovely Sue, there, who of course must, I would have thought, keep you very much up to date with what's going on in the street.
Yes, yes.
What do you think?
I can't tell you.
God damn it!
She swore me to secrecy.
They'd all be working, I would have thought, at the moment towards their live episodes.
They're rehearsing it in the old way that we used to do it in the old days, rehearsing it like a play, and timing it to perfection, because they have to do that.
Yes.
And
So
of course, sorry.
no, that's why they're working so hard, working late at nights as well.
But even so, without the live episode, they're now doing 5 eps a week. And I think it was you back then, it used to be 2 episodes, and actually your storyline brought it to 3 episodes a week, which at the time was a huge thing. And now they're doing 5.
I couldn't do it. Honestly, I don't think I could.
No.
I don't know, because they're jumping from one episode to another, which is what we never used to do.
Yeah.
So it's all out of sync.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at this this iconic moment once again. Here is that infamous scene with the tram.
Go back, you stupid!
Oh.
Sorry, it's just Bet's dress there, and you're like, what is she wearing?
Sharon,
It's a moment like that, Sharon. That's very insensitive.
I'm so sorry.
What about those stunt drivers when Barbara's run across the road?
Running across the road, yes.
Brilliant, stopping just...
Yeah.
You had some really intense scenes together, didn't you?
Yes, we did, very... Well, I tried to kill her, I mean, tried to smother her. And you know, there's in Bolton, there's a group called MOVE, Men Overcoming Violence Against Women. They asked to have that clip to show the men that come to them for help about what an explosion of male anger can do.
Yes.
You know, so In a way, you suppose you felt you were doing a bit of good, but I remember that was a very... Yeah, we said to them, you've got to get this in one because I don't think we're ever going to be able to do it again.
Yeah. Yes.
And they had about 4 cameras on it.
Do you sort of wish in a way that your character hadn't been killed off, that he could have come back in some way, or
In a
always
way,
been
yeah.
there in the sort of background, so he could come back and...
'Cause it would make a great story, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know, if she... And nobody believed her because they all thought he was dead.
Yeah.
And every time she looked in the shop window, she would see a reflection. And when she turned, he was gone. You know, and everyone said she's going mad, you know. Make a good storyline.
Well, I mean, look what's happening now. I mean, it's history repeating itself.
Yeah.
You know, the poor woman's had so many troubles with trams. And she's got one on her head now. So let's talk about the rest of the decade.
Exactly. And we were just saying to Holly, this is the age we were sat watching this as young kids and glued to the screen. And apart from what you were doing to poor old Barbara Knox, the big storyline for me was always the Mike and Deirdre and Ken. See, Deirdre and Ken, they married back in 1981, and 2 years later is when Deirdre is having a bit of a dalliance on the side with Ken. We were all glued, weren't we? Which way is she going to go? And this is the moment, of course, when Ken found out.
Ignore it.
No.
Why did you put the phone down on me?
It's Ken. He knows. I've told him everything.
Get out of this house! Shut up! I'm warning you! Get out of this house!
That's
before
it.
I
You
make-
go. Go. Ah. Ken, stop.
So that, as well as the affair, we've got Jack and Vera, of course. Jack posed as a wealthy divorcee. Vince St Clair.
Vince St Clair, when she whacked him. Do you remember that one as well? And of course, stunts. They were doing some stunts back in these days. I remember this. We have to show Kevin Webb's moustache, any excuse. But this was the big fire when the Rovers burnt down.
Yes.
This was in 1986. Go on, safe bet. Go on, Kev, and your moustache.
Talk us from it!
I bet you any money she's been smoking in bed.
Got your flick! Yeah, smash it with that! Can you get in, son? Hang on! Jeff, leave it! A fire brigade's here! I can see you!
Oh, I hope it's a go on this one.
You think that moustache would have been a fire hazard, wouldn't you, actually? They'd have been in big trouble.
And of course, that was you in the 80s, of course, Kevin and Sally. That's when they met. Remember, he splashed in a
Yeah.
puddle and she had to go and dry her tights at number 13. And they ended up getting married that year as well. There they are. Oh, the
little
tash
love
going
kids.
strong
He's
there.
never lived that down.
No, I'll bet he hasn't. Brian Tilsley's murder.
That's right. That was he was. No, it was Brian and Gail had split up, and Brian had gone out with his new floozy. A gang set upon his new girl outside a nightclub, and then he was killed there, and that's how that character
And Hilda
went
leaving,
out.
of course.
Sorry.
Hilda leaving.
Yes, of course. That was
The
there
highest
as well.
rating, I think, soap episode
know.
ever for Coronation
And just
Street.
a
that one.
lovely, simple exit
Yeah.
as well. But and of course, but the drama we have now.
Well, we've mentioned your tram incident,
Yes.
but of course now we're all living through another massive incident with the tram. It's unfolding as we speak on our telly in the evenings. This is the moment of the big tram crash on Corrie. Brilliant! That tram had to have been driven by somebody. It's you!
There he is.
Tom! How does it feel? I mean, it's not a speaking part, but it's a dramatic part.
Amazing. I'm just over the moon to be, you know, part of it all, and I couldn't believe it when I saw it because it's just I couldn't imagine what it was going to look
Part
like.
of Corrie history now. Absolutely.
You were stabbing at that stop button.
I tried my best. I tried.
And so for you, I mean, how do you feel it's all unfolded?
I'm just, well, I was saying before, I'm very worried about Rita, obviously.
Of course.
Well, as if the
but I
explosion
just
wasn't bad enough.
I was amazed by the whole episode, and you know, I just think it's fantastic what they've done. Graham, who directed it as well, is an absolute legend. He's just. one of the best directors I've ever worked with.
Does he die in the crash?
You can't ask that. You can't ask that.
The tram driver? Well, no,
bus
apparently it's... No, Phil Collinson, the producer, has actually come out and said that I do survive. It's a miracle.
Well, it's the live episode
Lovely to
tonight,
see you.
isn't it? Which is
Thursday.
the big one. Oh, it's Thursday.
Yes.
Thursday.
Oh, yeah. Get it
Lovely
wrong.
to see you as well. Thank you very
Nice
much
to see
indeed.
you.
Got
Thank
Stacey
you.
Solomon is on the show tomorrow. Now, though, to get us in the festive mood in the bleak midwinter, Isabel, the Squire Girl.